Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Thank you for coming for our board business meeting today. My name is Nurul Nasuha as your Chief Executive Officer, and today I would like to know about our financial report progress. So first of all, I will introduce a little bit information for our report. Okay. Finance is the study of how people and businesses value investment and raise capital to finance them. For our report, the analysis is referring the financial report of our company, which is My News Holding Berhad, and our competitors, which is 7-Eleven Holding Berhad. The method that we use in this report is vertical and horizontal analysis. Okay. Next is about the nature of business. Okay. First of all, for our background of My News Holding Berhad, is founded by Dai Tailuk in December 1996, and they proved the competitors by their achievement. They got a lot of award in 1996 until now, such as the Soba Award. Okay, next is 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven was founded by J.C. Thompson in 1927. They started as an ice vendor and become the first largest 24 hours convenience store operator in Malaysia. So, I think that's all from me. You guys can start your financial report now.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is NURSYAHIDA Binti SANUSI as the Chief Financial Officer. Here I would like to present the financial position of our company, which is My News Holding Berhad. As everyone can see, the graph on the main screen is the position and annual achievement of this company in terms of liquidity ratio starting from 2018 to 2020. Starting with the net working capital ratio, in this graph, all can see a decrease in 2018 to 2019 by increase in 2020. So the assessment of this is in a good shape. Next, the second graph is the average collection period of the company. In the first year to the second year, there was a decline, but increase again in 2020. This show a nice changes. Switch to the third graph, which is the graph of current ratio, asset test ratio, and inventory turnover. Based on these three graphs, all can see that a significant decrease occurred except on the acid test ratio graph. They show that the only acid test ratio brought positive changes and increased during these 3 years. Next to the capital structure section, the first graph shows an increase in the graph which shows that the company's debt and ratio is getting worse. The same goes for the sharply declining time-inter ratio, which is clearly worrying us. Next, my assistant will continue.
Hello, my name is FIRDAUS. I am Assistant Financial Officer. For asset management efficiency ratio, the bar chart shows that the asset management efficiency ratio of My News Holding Berhad has decreased. Data show that it has dropped slightly by year. The decrease in the company asset turnover rate indicates that compared with last year, assets were not effectively used to generate sales from 2019 to 2020. The change of asset turnover ratio in 2020 have generally indicate the opposite of a firm not using its asset effectively. So next, profitability ratio. Next is a change of profitability ratio in year of My News Holding Berhad. The chart shows gross profit margin, operating profit margin, net profit margin, operating return on asset, and return on equity has getting worse. This shows that My News Holding Berhad having a critical time in managing their margin and possibility to get lost at the end. This reflects that My News Holding Berhad is a failed company and management team because in terms of production revenue and production sale ratio and performance, boards consider the production cost and products and service. So that's all from me.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is ASYEKIN Binti Muhammad YAZID as a Chief Marketing Officer for My News Holding Berhad. I will show the finance report for our competitor, which is 7-Eleven. First, for liquidity ratio is current ratio. For 2018 to 2020 is getting better. We can see the current asset in 2018 increased to 2020. Furthermore, the asset test ratio also increased in 2018 to 2020. But in 2019, the asset test ratio suddenly fall down. In addition, we can see the that the average collection period in 2090 is better than 2080 and 2020. The net ratio is inventory turnover in 2090 is the highest inventory turnover for 2080 and 2020. That's all for me. I will.
Hi and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is AMIR NAQIUDDIN FADZAL. I'm as Assistant Information Officer. Okay, today I would like to present the changes of debt ratio in years and the change of time interest ratio in years. The debt ratio of 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad was increasing in 2019. However, there is a decline in 2020 due to the debt ratio being lower than the previous year. Lenders and investors regard the 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad to be a lower risk since it showed that an organization is borrowing just a tiny amount of its prospective growth. Thus, 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad debt the ratio in 2020 is getting better than in 2019, but getting worse than in 2018. There is a sharp drop in time interest earn ratio in 2018 than 2020. The decrease between 2019 and 2020 shows that 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad is getting worse. That when the times interest earn ratio is low, it suggests there are fewer earnings available to cover interest payment. Okay, the next one is the change of asset management efficiency ratio in years. Based on the graph and table, the asset management efficiency ratio of 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad show a downtrend from 2018 to 2020. Even though there has a big drop and continue the decrease in 2020. When lower ratio have been obtained, it means that 7-Eleven Holding Berhad has low efficient use of its investment in fixed asset. So the total assets turnover of 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad is getting worse. There is a steady increase in the fixed assets turnover of 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad between 2018 and 2020. Next, the revenue and the net plan and equipment have increased and show an increase in fixed assets turnover. It is due to the 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad using its fixed assets with high efficiency. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul HAFIZA Binti SIDIK. I'm a Chief Information Officer for my new Holding Berhad. Okay, now I will continue with the horizontal profitability ratio. First, the gross profit margin for 7-Eleven shows a downward trend from 2018 to 2020. Next, the operating profit margin of 7-Eleven shows an increase from 2018 to 2019, but suddenly fell down in 2020. For the net profit margin of 7-Eleven is also getting worse because it increased between 2018 to 2019 but decreased in 2020. Next, the operating return on assets of 7-Eleven also fell sharply from 2018 to 2020. The last one is the return on equity of 7-Eleven. It is shown that there is an increase sharply from 2018 to 2019, but it dropped suddenly in 2020. I think that's all from me. Thank you. I will pass to the next presenter.
Continue the presentation on liquidity ratios through the vertical analysis that has been made. This method is made to make a comparison between two companies based on the current year, which is 2020. On the screen display, all can see the graph below is the average collection period between our company and 7E company. The red graph represents the news company and the green represents 7E. Significant differences can be seen based on the graph where our company has difficulty in receiving payment from customer. Next, the graph located above is the graph of the net working capital ratio between the two companies. Significant differences can be seen where Minus Holding Berhad company has difficulty in paying current liabilities using current asset compared to 7E, which is seen in a stable finance. Next.
Okay, so for liquidity ratio between companies in 2020, the current ratio of minus holding Berhad is better than 7-Eleven Malaysia holding Berhad. The high current ratio of minus holding Berhad indicate that the company is more liquid than 7-Eleven and can easily pay its current liabilities. For the acid test ratio of minus holding Berhad was worse than 7-Eleven Malaysian holding Berhad. 7-Eleven with a higher acid test ratio is considered financially stable compared to minus holding Berhad, which has a lower quit ratio. For the inventory turnover of minus holding Berhad was worse than 7-Eleven Malaysian holding Berhad. It showed that 7-Eleven Malaysian holding Berhad sold its inventory in a year faster than minus holding Berhad. That's all from me.
I will continue for debt ratio and time interest earning ratio. For debt ratio for minus holding is better than 7-Eleven because the percentage of debt ratio for minus holding Berhad less than 7-Eleven Berhad. For the time interest earning ratio of minus is getting worse than 7-Eleven because the time of 7-Eleven is highest than minus. The high ratio means the company can meet in interest obligation because earning is significantly greater than annual interest obligation. I think that's all for me.
I will continue total asset turnover and fixed asset turnover. The total asset turnover ratio of 7-Eleven Malaysia holding Berhad is better than minus holding Berhad. The higher of the total asset turnover ratio, the higher the rate of asset is fully utilized in the organization. The fixed asset turnover of minus holding Berhad is worse than 7-Eleven Malaysia holding Berhad. The higher the fixed asset turnover ratio, the higher the rate of fixed asset fully utilized by the manager in the team. Overall, 7-Eleven Malaysia holding Berhad has completely utilized the total asset than minus holding Berhad, and also in the utilization of fixed asset, 7-Eleven Malaysia holding Berhad is greater than minus holding Berhad. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay. Next for the profitability ratio. For the gross profit margin, it is shown that minus holding Berhad is better than 7-Eleven Malaysia holding Berhad. And next for the operating profit margin, it is shown that minus holding Berhad is worse than 7-Eleven Malaysia holding Berhad. For the net profit margin, minus holding Berhad is better than 7-Eleven Malaysia holding Berhad. The percentage of operating return on assets for minus holding Berhad is less than 7-Eleven Malaysia holding Berhad. Lastly, the return on equity for minus holding Berhad is getting worse than 7-Eleven Malaysia holding Berhad. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi. I'm Muhammad FARYZA bin JEFRY as a Chief Operation Officer in Minus Holding Berhad. So I want to present about recommendation. According to the financial ratio analysis, 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad has a stronger financial position compared to Minus Holding Berhad. This is because the liquidity ratio of 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad, which average amount of days in the period of credit sale and the date of payment is shorter than Minus Holding Berhad. Besides, inventory turnover and net working capital ratio also shows that 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad was increased and higher compared Minus Holding Berhad. To begin, Minus Holding Berhad can address the average collection period issued by tightening policy constraints. The firm that collaborate with other companies must follow the standard that were established, such as paying debt on time, and if the firm fail to repay, they will be fined. An immediate strategy will be done. Minus Holding Berhad cannot sympathize with them and must be firm with the current instant. And the last is conclusion. In conclusion, we can conclude that Minus Holding Berhad and 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad will be profitable from 2018 to 2020. Horizontal analysis show that most of Minus Holding Berhad financial ratio deteriorate and decline between 2018 and 2020. However, most of 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad financial ratios are getting better and increase from 2018 and 2019. The graph must be same to 2020. In vertical analysis, overall the net working capital ratio between companies in 2020 from Minus Holding Berhad of top global companies are better than 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad. It can be said that the financial position of Minus Holding Berhad is stronger and more stable than 7-Eleven Malaysia Holding Berhad. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. So as you guys can see, our financial need to get more improved, and but I would like to thank you for everyone for present our financial report. You guys really work hard on it, and thank you again, and congratulations everyone. So everyone can leave the meeting now. Thank you.